Hello, dear friends. Here we are for another study of the book Calmness by the Spirit Emmanuel through the mediumship of Francisco Candido Xavier. Good morning. I hope this message finds you well. This message, Emmanuel, titled Enjoyment and Patience. So he's going to be telling us a little bit about how to use and enjoy and also detach to a certain extent to the physical things that we have in our lives, the physical companions, the spiritual companions. It's a beautiful message. And he tells us, before the laws of the earth, property belonging to the social group, to the community, or to the individual is always a creditor of respect. However, before the divine creation, the idea of your enjoyment is a great factor of a patience of the heart. If you think in terms of the eternal life, you certainly remember that your most valued ascendants came to the earth, enjoyed their goods, and return to the spirituality that makes us where we come from, our field of origin. Reflect on this so that the shock of untying to the things of this world does not compromise your balance and health. Unquote for now. So he's telling us we have property, we have things. I, for example, right now have a microphone, a camera, and a computer that I purchased, the Spiritual Society Richmond purchased, so that we can be together this morning, enjoying these teachings, also the books. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying it. Yet he's saying we need to not be attached or defined by our physical possessions. So look around you this morning, this week, the upcoming weekend. Look around and see what are the things that you have that are not serving you anymore, that you bought in a different season of life, that you've used, you've enjoyed, but now it's time to let it be someone else's. So because what is not good anymore for us can be of service to one another. And I'm going to include here, he's going to tell us, think about people who came before us, our family members, our family of origin. They came, they enjoyed what they needed, and they did what they needed to do, and they returned to the spiritual realm. And that's where you will be as well, where I will be as well. Newsflash, we're all going to return to our true home, which is the spirit world. Then this is a process of knowing that you are here, you enjoy the resources that we have, use them to the good, and then maybe we move on, and then we enjoy it again in another lifetime, here on the earth or elsewhere. So it's a good, important way of also thinking about our relationship with others. Are there people in our lives who cause us more harm? We can still support and help them, but is it time to let go of some of the things that we are used to, that we've become accustomed to? And that's the invitation from Emmanuel. And he'll give us a couple of examples that I'm going to paraphrase, and I'm going to explain to you. He says, the goods we have accumulated, transferred from our name to others and vice versa, whether these family members connect with us through blood ties or different companions, they will give continuity to your work. So those are things that we have. You build a spiritual center. When you return to the spiritual realm, those friends who are here continue the work. You leave something for your family members as inheritance. They continue the work, so on and so forth. And it says the power you hold, however long it takes in your hands, will pass to the hands of others, considering inevitable changes. Influence you have today will yield over time. And those are the things that sometimes we get attached to. They causes anxiety, causes depression, causes to be restless is that what I have now passes on to someone else. My situation changes. I move, I discarnate, or someone I know discarnate. And necessarily those physical possessions and that power and influence needs to be given to others. So enjoy the things you have. Be content with what you have. Use and purchase less. Have less needs. And then perhaps it will be easier for us to detach from those ties. And when we return to the spiritual realm, it will be easier for us to be of the spirit world, enjoying the things that only the spirit world can provide to you and I, which is way more than we experience while incarnated on the earth, right? The earth is only one sliver of reality. So then I want to invite you this morning to think about it, so that instead of causing you anxiety, you have a plan. You make a list of what the things you have, relationships you've created, you nourish and cherish, the things, physical things that we have. Then we make an inventory, because it takes effort to keep track of those things and keep them over time. And then I ask myself, do I need this in my life, in this season of life? Is it the right thing for me right now? Understanding that there's nothing wrong with having things and enjoying things, but are the things having me instead? Am I working so that I can have the brand name things and the bigger car and the bigger house, while I could live with less and I could have a greater impact on the lives of those who are less fortunate than we are? And that includes our positions, our titles, our jobs. Those are temporary experiences as well. He says here, certain faculties of intelligence, you have them on the physical plane, as long as you can support yourself in a relatively robust body. In the same manner, so he gives us an example of a violin who will remain in his or her prime shape as long as integrity of the instrument. What about our physical bodies? Are we attached to the physical sensations and only feeding the physical, nourishing well the physical body as an instrument of this lifetime? Or we only focus on the physical? We're only consuming things that are of external quality versus internal capabilities as well. We know our physical body is going to age. If you are fortunate to live a long life, or we may even dispose of the physical body early if our time arises. So let's make sure we take good care of the physical body, but then we also know that we are more than the physical. He will say, mindful of the reality that we all enjoy resources that in essence do not belong to us, let us be alert, loving without possession, serving without attachment. Who do all the resources in the nature belong to? God. God created everything. You and I modified the universal cosmic fluid based on the places we are, the world we live, our intelligence, our abilities, our knowledge, technology progresses. But ultimately, all of those things are granted to you and I by the grace of God. So enjoy them. But he says, love something or someone without possessing them, and serve without attachment. So use the things that you have, use them well, but know when it's time to let go as well. And finally, he will say, consider the position of an heir or user, which you find yourself in the terrestrial existence. So we are inheriting things from others. Before you and I could go to school and learn things, someone had to build the school, use the tax money to build that school. The teachers have to be prepared and taught by someone else. Someone had to plan and build the roads, plan and write the books, publish the books, purchase the books, right? Before even anything, before we even came to the earth, a lot we inherited from our neighborhood. So let's make our neighborhood better for the ones who are going to inherit it, and make sure that people who have less, who are less fortunate, who are in different circumstances, can also be granted the resources they need to flourish as human beings instead of not being able to use their capabilities. And he says, whatever the adverse circumstances you see in yourself in the world, patience will not fail you. Therefore, dear friends, my wish for you this morning is that you can take an account of the things you have in your life in both realms, the spiritual companions, the physical resources and possessions, as well as your knowledge and abilities and spiritual qualities that you would take with you to the spiritual realm. Take an inventory of it and try to remove from your life everything that you have that is causing you anxiety and lack of calmness. Make sure that we see ourselves as inheriting the resources from God, granting the opportunity to be here today. Let's be in this world, but not of this world. Let's enjoy the things that we have without possessing them, without attachment, and sharing, and serving others, because there is no spiritual growth alone. We don't conquer everything on our own. God is always with us, so are the spiritual companions as well, including our spirit guides. Thank you so very much for this opportunity of sharing the good news, sharing these teachings of Emmanuel with you this morning. And until next time, stay well, stay safe. I'll see you soon.